What's up, everybody? Welcome to Negative Influence. I am Justin Allen, and today we are joined by my good friend Paul Maven. Paul has spent decades in the photography world using both film and digital, and I am excited to sit down with him today and for him to share what he's learned over the years.
I'm strapped in, Justin. I'm strapped in for this one because I know what's coming.
Oh, yeah. And number one, the return to film. That's listed right at the top.
Is it a return? I don't know. I mean, I've got... There it's there. It's a 40 quid camera.
And it's the 3800N, isn't it?
Yeah. It does. You can do multiple exposures by pressing this little button here. And it's got the... When I went out and did the first shot, and it did that...
Yeah, something in your lizard brain really just like clicked, and you're like, "Oh shit, I'm about to spend money."
It's that sort of vibration that you don't get, and it genuinely brought a smile to my face when I did it. It was like, "All right, yeah, okay."
Yeah, you're already scrolling through B&H looking because they have a sale going on film.
Oh man, and so I'm teetering on the edge of it. And after that post, I'm sure you read the post about, deciding not to go back to film.
Yeah.
And then I felt like such a fraud after I wrote all that, and I was really convinced that, as you know, our neurodivergent brains go down a certain way, don't they? And you go, right, that's it. That's it. That's the decision made. And then this turns up and throws a spanner in the works.
Do you know who it came from? Do you know who gave it to you?
Yeah,
or is it a mystery?
Just an old acquaintance. I've got this camera. Do you want it?
Yeah, sure. It won't have any long-lasting financial problems for me.
You know what? It cost us... So obviously I didn't go for a cheap film. I went for like a really extra... It was a bit of a safety net because I shot it on TX 400, so...
Yeah.
Pricey film, but it's, I've used it so many times. I know what it does, and it's a reliable film. It's got a huge latitude, hasn't it? So...
Oh, it does.
And because the light meter doesn't work. It's got LEDs, but when you look through it, there's a new battery in. So you can't. There's no way of knowing. So I was guessing, basically.
You were guessing your settings by just looking at the scene?
Yeah.
Damn, I would have downloaded I have an app on my phone that reads the light meter. It's a light meter, and it works really great.
Well,
but I don't have the bravery to eyeball that shit.
Yeah, but I think I went. It was quite a sunny day the first day. So the half of the film's okay, and then the second day I went out to shoot the second half of the film. It was 24 exposures, and it was really foggy and dark. So they're all right, the second lot of exposures, but I think I didn't nail it. The first day I nailed it because it was sunny, so I went for sunny 16. Just died.
They looked real good, Paul. They looked really good.
They look all right. They look all right. And
I knew as soon as I saw those photos, because I just saw that you tagged me today, and I opened it, and I was like, oh, look at this. You should have heard me cackling in my basement about it.
Yeah, I'm sure you were. But I mentioned, I don't know whether I wrote about it on Substack, but I've got a couple of long-term projects going, and one of them, so a couple of the shots were for that. There's an allotment just at the back of my house here. Do you have the same thing in an allotment?
No, if it is, it's not called that here. We just have it's like an easement where it's the government owns part of the property. Is that what it is?
No, it's something an allotment. It's quite a traditional thing in the UK. It's a patch of ground basically that you can apply for a plot of land, and people have greenhouses on them, and they grow veg and keep chickens and stuff like that. So you get a little numbered plot, and they're called allotments.
Oh.
So and
they don't have any of that. They don't have anything like that in my area, at least. They might in other parts of the country, but yeah. I've never heard of it here.
Yeah, they're quite. I don't know whether it's maybe a northern thing, like a northern Britain thing. I don't know. But anyway, there's one just at the back here, and it's full of these lovely characters That tend to older people tend to do them. So there's this guy. I met this guy last week who he's got like 3 huts full of chickens,
Oh,
and
wow.
you can hear them on the morning. There's like cockerels go off at sort of first thing on the morning to wake you up. But he's there 3 times a day, this guy, and he's in his 70s, you know. And he keeps them and he feeds them. And just behind him is a guy who keeps racing pigeons. And he goes 3 times a day, 365 days a year. He's up there. He's in his 80s.
That keeps him going.
I know, it does. And people are growing their own veg. And so it's just a fascinating little microcosm of people and stuff. And it's also really visually interesting. There's just loads going on. So a couple of the shots that I posted were from the allotment. So that's where I went and shot. But I've been doing the rest digitally, but
something's calling you back to film, ain't it, Paul?
It cost us a lot of money, Justin. You know, it was, you know, that's not so much the issue, I suppose, but I bought the film, then I got it processed, then I got it scanned, and then I got a little set of, so there's a little set of prints, so it was part of a package. So, but all in all, you're talking, I don't know, 20 odd quid to get them done. So I don't know what that is in dollars, but you know,
I don't know the conversion rate. I'm an American from the American educational system. I can't convert shit.
No, I couldn't. But anyway, it's not. It was lovely. It was lovely. But and then I found myself looking at, you know, I'm not a gay geek. I'm really not a gay geek, but I like Kit. You know, I don't bang on about it all the time. I barely talk about it on my Substack, but I do like Kit. So you know, when you mentioned light meter, I said, oh well, I wonder how much a light meter would be. So all of a sudden, I'm looking at like second-hand Seconic spot meters for 300 quid, and oh, that would be nice. I used to have one of those. They're great. I'll get one of them. And I'm looking at medium format cameras and all sorts. So I'm teetering on the edge of this, really.
It's a slippery ass slope, Paul. You slip, it's game over, man.
Substack's fault, really. And I'm looking at all the stuff you're doing and other guys, you know, on the platform, and it's fantastic. So now I feel like a bit of a fraud, having wrote that post.
No, I don't think you're a fraud at all. Everybody's allowed to change their mind or fiddle around and fuck around with whatever they want. I think it's perfectly fine that you wrote that post and you're like, you know what? Somebody gave me a camera. I'm going to play around with film. And then you were like, oh, shit.
Yeah. I did quite a lot of thinking about it over the last couple of days, actually, about the output of film. Because that is one thing that is really different for me now, is that when I do see stuff online that people have put on, it's sort of half the job, because they've gone out and they've shot film, and then they've had it scanned and they've uploaded it. But when I was shooting film, when I started, that would have just been, you know, you couldn't upload, scanners were like these rare things, and there was nothing to upload to because there wasn't an internet. So you were halfway through the job. And I'm wondering, I don't know what you think about it, but I'm wondering whether it would be so prevalent if you had to go into the darkroom to output, because people don't have to, do they? They can just scan the images. They don't even have to make a print. They can scan and then upload. But if they couldn't do that, they'd be halfway through the process. They'd have to go and stand in the darkroom for hours to get one decent print.
Yep. I desperately want to do darkroom prints. I'm building a darkroom.
Yeah.
But I know my capabilities of being able to make photographic prints in a darkroom are going to be limited by knowledge and time.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can see that being beneficial for me, other than the artistic outlet, is maybe selling some darkroom prints.
Yeah.
Other than that, maybe I could sell it to like clients that pay for film photography.
Yeah.
Which would be a nice little touch that you could put on and be like, yeah, I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way. I'm going to make a photographic print for you guys in the darkroom. It runs this much.
Yeah.
I could see that being a cool upsell.
Yeah.
In the face of like all the new AI technology and everything that everybody's kind of against. It's like there's like this subset that they're against it. And I think it'd be a cool thing to offer, but as far as being like a full-time make a photographic print and show that process, it's kind of hard to justify the cost and chemicals and environmental stuff that may go on with that.
Yeah.
When I can just buy a printer, digitally scan it, print it out, and it's the same concept.
Yeah, I know, and there is something really lovely and tactile about darkroom. I've got access to a darkroom because I work 2 days in a school. We've been setting up a photography studio today. They've just bought some flash equipment, and there's a darkroom. I've got access to a darkroom, but I would have to do it on my own time and after school's finished, and it's maybe the time of it. I don't know. It's quite a laborious task, especially when you learn, and there's a lot of wastage, a lot of mistakes made. But it is a lovely thing to do.
I just think it looks fun.
It is. It's great once you get into it, and once you get to the basics of it, and you know what chemicals do, and you know what paper does, and you get the combination right, and it becomes sort of. I was always taught that if you shoot film in a certain way and develop in a certain chemical, and you're consistent, it was all about being consistent. Be consistent with your exposure. Choose your film, stick to it, know it like the back of your hand, and use the same chemicals in the right way, in the right mixes, and print in the. Then you were sort of guaranteed to get your film out, process it, get good negs, and get a good print. But that would take a long time for me to get back into that, and learning that skill. It did take quite a long time to learn that skill, I think.
Well, the one benefit that we have now that didn't exist when you were first getting into it is that through YouTube, all things are possible, because I think YouTube should open a university where you can study any subject you want.
Yeah.
I think they could open their own university, and once you've watched so many watch hours of the stuff, and you can prove that you understand it and take a qualified test, you should get a degree for that shit. Because I've watched thousands and thousands of hours of photography stuff and car repair stuff, not because I wanted to fix cars, because my shit broke and I needed to fix it. But just there's so many things that I like. YouTube is the greatest source of learning material that has ever existed, and I think a lot of people are underutilizing that.
Oh God, I do refer to it when I got my new camera, my Fuji. I sat for a couple of hours and I went, do you know what? let's look at. And once I'd found people who weren't really annoying, because some of them were really annoying, and I was like, you're not really saying anything here. You're just sort of wandering around with some music going on in the background, and I did this and I did that. I'm not learning anything from you. But then I couldn't tell you who they were. I'm useless with names, and I'm not a YouTube. I'm not an avid YouTube user like you are. I know you look at a lot, but there were one or two people on there who were absolutely nailed it, and I was like, all right, yeah, I can understand what you're saying. I'll set that. And that's the result I want. So I absolutely get that it's like a huge visual encyclopedia of knowledge, isn't it?
It is, and there's a huge visual like user manual for all kinds of equipment. So I got the Mamiya 645. It didn't come with a manual.
You got that for nothing, didn't you?
I did. I almost cried. It was wild. I still can't believe she did that. And she just sent me some other stuff.
That episode was fantastic. She was on it with that.
Oh man, I love Jess so much.
Yeah,
I talk to her every day.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
you know, just give.
Yeah, I know. I got a brown nose a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, she was right on it, and really funny, and I could see your two sort of senses of humour were sort of locked in. The Midwest thing was really funny, and
yeah.
But just telling you the camera. Have you used it yet?
Yeah, I have. It's I'm working on some projects with it.
Yeah.
But I'm taking it out to the Grand Canyon next month when we go.
Wow.
And I've got some Kodak Gold. I got some 50D.
Yeah.
I've got some Portra. I spent some money, Paul.
But You know, what else would you be doing with it, Justin? What else would you be doing?
Trying to survive.
But,
Instead, I'm artistically free.
yeah, I know. But I mean, you've got a medium format camera and you've got some film and you're going to the Grand Canyon. You couldn't have gone to the Grand Canyon without.
Right?
Yeah, that's the way to look at it. You know, it's a justifiable expense.
I could justify the expense even more because we received some wedding gifts, and some of the wedding gifts were cash, and I'm like, well, we got to record the memories on film.
Absolutely. Who needs a new skillet when you can?
Right? We've lived together for 8 years. We don't need any more
You
new
don't
house
need
shit.
anything. You don't need.
Buy film.
Yeah, you need a film and you need some more stuff for your darkroom.
So you had fun shooting film again, is what you're saying. At the end of the day, you enjoyed it.
I did have fun, but I was a little nervous about it because I haven't shot film for years. I've had no need or desire to shoot it. And I think what became the way I don't know how you write long form on Substack, but I'll just sit down with no real plan. I'll have like a vague idea of a subject, and I'll just start typing, and I don't really. And as I was typing, I started thinking, no, do I miss it? Why? So if I wrote that post again now, it would be totally different, I think, but along the same lines. But I don't think I realised I'd missed it so much, to be honest.
It's because you grew comfortable using the digital professionally. Because I'm remembering back now and trying to remember correctly, but wasn't the catalyst for you going digital full time? It was a damaged roll of film from a wedding.
It was one of the things. I think I mean, there was two things. It was the damaged roll of film. I handed some medium format negs over to a professional lab, and when I went to collect them, they said they're ruined, and there was a scratch right down the middle. So you can imagine the horror.
The devastation.
These are wedding photographs. You know, these are wedding photographs. So around all that was people who I knew, my contemporaries, who were already shooting with Nikon digital cameras and what have you, who said, "Oh well, if it was digital, it wouldn't be a problem." But because and in you used to be able to spot out little scratches and marks on film. This was like a gouge.
Yeah.
Right. So they were absolutely wrecked, and there was not, and stuff had been building up about how much film was costing, and I was seeing other people using these cameras and getting, really nice results, and the speed of which they were able to turn jobs over was just crazy. And I'm like, well, it's going to take a couple of days to get the negs back and get some prints sorted out for you, and I just started to feel as though I was falling behind the race, really. Everybody was shooting digital. I think that was sort of the nail in the coffin for me, really. And as I said in the post, I said that it wasn't really. I didn't sort of lose sleep over it. It was just got to one point when the next came out, I went, oh well, I need to change that now. I need to not shoot film anymore, so that doesn't happen again. It was just quite a matter-of-fact decision that I took at the time was the correct thing to do for my business. To push my business on was to start shooting digital, and I'd hung back. I was one of the little group of photographers that I sort of knew in Sunderland. I was one of the last to go digital. So I had hung on, but
Yeah, I can see why you would have wanted to move on from film, but a situation like that now with, let's say you do shoot on film and your film gets gouged and you think it's wrecked, as long as that doesn't pass through your subject's face, you can fix that in Photoshop in 10 minutes now. Like, the technology that's around is insane. And I'm not somebody who uses generative AI, but I'm telling you right now, if I shot a wedding on film and it was damaged, I'd be generating the shit out of that AI trying to fix these people's wedding photos.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. And what you've got to think about, Justin, is that technology didn't exist.
Yeah.
Even handling low light in a church for a wedding was you had to pay a premium for a camera that could handle that. So
Yeah.
even something as basic as handling digital noise, or a camera that wasn't capable of shooting. So I had, funny enough, a Fuji digital camera at one point, and outside it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It was shit as soon as you got into digital noise, and it wasn't like film grain. It wasn't nice. It was
Yeah, it was
just
static.
it was just this horrible, messy shit all over every frame. And then that was how it's photographed inside a church. Obviously, if you're a wedding photographer, it's like I could, the technology now. Do you use it then? Do you use AI?
I don't use AI for any of my film stuff. I don't use AI for any of my writing.
Yeah.
But if there's, let's say, like a senior picture or family photos, and there happens to be a person in the background, I will use the content aware to remove that person.
Yeah.
But I don't know if content aware is the same thing as generative AI. I don't think they're technically the same thing. I think it's an automated spot replacement system where you replace bits of it with part of the image. I haven't looked into it enough, but if it's digital, I was going to say molest. That's not the right word. I will manipulate.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I will manipulate a digital image to no end to get to where the client is happy with what they have paid for.
Yeah.
If it's something in film and something that I hold myself to an artistic integrity to, I don't give a shit what's in that frame. That's what's staying in that frame.
Yeah. And to a certain extent, you've got to accept what's in the frame, haven't you? With digital, which makes it it does heighten your game, I suppose. I mean, one thing it did do when I went out with this little thing, it was right. You've got 24 frames.
It's quite the change up.
Just calm down a bit, I did find myself on a couple doing a few brackets, and I went, right, that's 3 you've just shot out of the same thing. You haven't got that luxury. You need to. You need to stop doing that. Otherwise, you're gonna have 4 photographs.
You take 3 photos, you're 1/6 of the way through that roll already.
Yeah. So, which is where the light meter comes in, I suppose. When I had a handheld light meter, I did download one on my phone, but I forgot. I forgot I had it. So, just a free one. But I've tested that on the app against my Fuji and on a grey card, and it's absolutely bang on. Like,
mine is great.
Yeah,
I've used mine at night.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe how good it
photography.
was. Yeah, I used my light meter on my phone for night photography, and it was like I posted those photos a while back of the gas pumps where it's like very blue and the Shell gas station lights lit up really orange because I shot on 500T, and man, I can't believe how great those turned out for using a cell phone to meter for the image. Well, cell phones very accurately expose images.
Yeah.
Whether the quality of the photo is all subjective, obviously, because it's such a tiny sensor, but there's a lot of people out there putting out great cell phone work, despite the fact that I hate it. And it's because that light meter is so spot on, and it can overcompensate for everything.
Yeah. It is mad, isn't it, really, when you think of the technology? And I do look at some stuff that is shot on iPhone, and it's remarkable. I mean,
even the video, they're shooting feature-length films on iPhones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's mad.
I would have never thought. Yeah, you have a whole cinematic experience that you could just press to your head and absorb radiation from.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I use a little bit AI, but in the same way as you do, really. I did put something on Substack a couple of weeks ago.
I was going to ask about that. Is this because you saw somebody doing a similar style of this and you really liked it and thought it was photography and then was pissed when you found out it was AI?
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about because it happened to me. Same guy. His name starts with a P?
Yep. I just thought, you're getting so many. I don't mind you using this. I don't mind you doing that. You can do what the fuck you want with your art and your photography or whatever you're using. But don't sit back and take the accolades for a photograph that isn't a photograph. It's bullshit.
He changed his biography recently, saying it's AI.
Did he? But there was nothing, and he was getting 1.8k likes for photographs, and I'm like, it's not a photograph. please tell me you can see that this isn't a photograph.
Well, I didn't at first until I started looking at Substack on my computer, and I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. So when I saw it, and I went, right, some days you get a bee in your bonnet. But I don't know about you, but you get like sort of, I'm not having that. I'm each to their own, but I need to do something about this. In my own tiny little way. So I did.
Yeah.
I did that, and there was no lie about that post when I said it took less than a minute to produce that. From me typing the description, AI producing it, and me uploading it took less than a minute, and it's almost a carbon copy of what this guy was doing. And I just thought, it's AI.
It was so accurate. It was so accurate to what he's doing that I knew who you were talking about. I was so fucking disappointed, dude. I was so disappointed that was AI, and I fell for that shit.
Yeah, I know. But they were so well done. Or the end, the AI. I don't whether he spent more time describing what he wanted than I did. I don't know. I just said I want a vintage American convertible car on a beach with a palm tree and a blue sky, and that's what it gave me.
And it just spit it out perfectly composed. You didn't even have to say anything about composition.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't say I wanted profiled. I don't want the light to be in a certain way. I literally said I want an orange convertible American vintage car. I don't know. I know nothing about vintage American convertible cars, but I wanted on a beach with a blue sky with a palm tree behind it, and it literally was that quick, and that's what it gave me. And I didn't want to get personal with the book. That's why I didn't name anybody. I didn't want to get personal, but I just wanted to sort of and people did. I had to sort of fight my corner a little bit with some of the responses I was getting, saying, yeah, but it looks great. And I went, well, yeah, it does look great, but it's not a photograph, and it's pillaging everything that's out there for corporate greed gain. That's what the point you're missing here is that it's not just about the fact that it looks great and it's easy. It's how it's being used, how it's gaining its sort of momentum, and what that is for. It's for corporate gain, nothing else.
My opinion on people that use AI to generate all of their content is that they are incredibly dull people who they desperately want to be creative, but they don't want to put in the time to be good at anything creative. And now they found a shortcut and they feel like an artist for the first time.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about those people. And eventually, when the membership eventually kicks in on all these AI programs, because it's fucking it's gonna start costing more and more money, just like all the streaming services.
Yeah.
They're gonna be their business model. Then all these people are gonna look like complete assholes when they no longer can afford the AI generating part of it.
Yeah.
And then they're standing there and everyone's like, well, we wanted you to generate this for us, so where is it now?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they can't provide that proof of, I could do this, I could do that. They're not providing anything other than word prompts. There's a lady on my personal Facebook that is trying to hawk this AI class. She's like trying to sell an AI class. She's using...
To teach people how to do AI.
Yeah, but she's using AI to generate her classroom stuff. So she's using AI to teach her how to teach people to use AI who don't know how to use AI, and they're all fucking idiots, dude. All of them.
It's good. She's just gonna implode into nothing. But when she realizes she knows nothing, a class knows nothing, and AI is not a real sort of...
It's just a paradox. It's just... They've reached the event horizon of that black hole of stupidity, and they've gone over the edge.
So no, I don't use AI. I don't use AI other than the way you do it. A little bit of generative stuff and removing the odds. I took a shot the other week and it was beautiful, but there was a tiny little car and it was a fell and there was a road running on, and so it was just creeping into the edge of the frame. I mean, it was a dot, but I could see it. So it was gone. It was like removing a bit of dust on an egg, really.
Yep.
So it's never for more than anything than that, really.
I'd say it's less than 0.5% of anything I do. Everything else is usually in frame, like in camera.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I did write that down. I would talk to Justin about AI.
One thing that I find AI useful for is organization. ChatGPT has memory. It will remember your interactions with it if you have an account. And I use it for plotting out my month. I'll input like the podcasts I have. I'll input the shoots I have, and I'll be like, "Can you formulate this into an easily manageable timeline so I can understand it throughout the month?" And it will spit that out to me.
That's not a bad idea, that.
Yeah, I've basically turned ChatGPT into my secretary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have a bad memory, and it will I'll set a reminder and then check my ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But as far as generating stuff, I'll have it research my area and tell me points of interest people would be interested in seeing photographed. It will list out some things. It isn't like it's going out and generating generating the photos for me, but it will put a comprehensive list together of places that may be interesting to go and shoot photos at.
Right.
So instead of scrolling through Google Maps and getting depression that I can't go anywhere, I'll just use that to hunt, pinpoint a few places, and it limits me. It cuts off the choices.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see benefits for that, especially the organization thing. Our brains, the way they're wired, just and it doesn't. If I could put a sock in more than one drawer at once, then I would. So something like that sounds like it would be useful, but I'm sort of ignoring it in a way. The bits that I say just annoy me, and the bits that I use are minuscule, so hardly worth bothering about. But it is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, isn't it? There's no doubt about it.
It is.
And you're you were in a band, weren't you? You as a musician, that's the bit that's really pissing me off, is the way musicians are going to be treated and are being treated by the big platforms, the streaming platforms, and then AI generated tunes and music, and it's terrifying.
It is. It's very terrifying. But on the flip side of that, I can see the benefits of somebody using it in a way that's not expected. So there's obviously going to be the people that just churn out pointless AI generated music, AI generated scenes, all that dumb shit. They're going to do that because it'll generate clicks and they can make money off that.
Yeah.
But what a lot of people aren't thinking about, and I'm not defending AI, don't get me wrong, I think AI is a ridiculous resource that probably shouldn't exist, and it's going to drain so much of our natural resources, like water.
Yeah.
If I were still in a band and I needed to come up with a marketing plan that would increase the likelihood of people naturally hearing my music through an organic algorithm, I'd ask ChatGPT how to do that.
Yeah.
Because ChatGPT is a computer. It can analyze every bit of statistical data that you want it to. And then it can generate you a marketing plan that might actually be able to help you do it. So instead of hiring somebody that can market for you, you could market yourself using ChatGPT to come up with that plan.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways that I can see it being beneficial because it has access to information about every topic you want. It's basically a master's level professional and whatever you want to throw at it. But it's not infallible. It's a ridiculous resource, and it's going to put hardworking people out of work.
Yeah.
Because data centers are not going to stop growing. They're just going to replace so much stuff. And if it takes away all of our artistic stuff and robots take away all of our actual physical jobs, then what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Yeah. But I think you're right. But I also, the little bit about people using it. I don't know. There's a contradiction, isn't there, with sort of people using AI creatively. How's that going to work? Do you know what I mean? Like the way when digital photography first came in, and and Photoshop became more, generating sort of like science fiction type images using Photoshop and using pixels rather than a camera or a paintbrush is what I'm talking about. And so people are going to start doing that with AI, aren't they? Like really seriously creative people are going to start thinking about how they can manipulate or use AI. But are they really? There's a contradiction, isn't there? You might have the idea, but you're not actually doing it, are you? You're asking something else, this thing, to produce the work. So that I can't get my head around that, and I want that to happen the same way as I want film to keep on coming back and vinyl to continue. I want all of that, and I would love to see people using the AI truly creatively, but I just cannot get my head around the ecological impact of AI is horrendous, but also that how you get a creative idea to work within or use an AI without it just being AI doing it. I don't know how
AI,
this.
so I could see people using it to get out of like writer's block or painter's block.
Yeah.
Where they're like, think of an out of the box idea for me to paint. Think of an out of idea box for me to do this, that. They're like, because then you're getting a prompt. And a bunch of people, there's prompt websites that exist all over. You can scroll through. So if you used it to get prompts, that's one thing. If you, in the style of this, style of that, it can be kind of interesting, I guess, to use it for that. But at the same time, you just like used an entire shower worth of water when you could just scroll through a website and see a random word generator that would do the same shit for you.
Yeah.
And there's people who are using ChatGPT for like mental health purposes. They're using ChatGPT and all those to use as a therapist because, well, in the U.S. at least, we can't afford mental health services. And ChatGPT has gotten so out of control that the advice that it gave to one boy led to his death.
Oh
because
my God.
there needs to be some kind of regulation on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I understand I understand why they want it to be what it is. And I feel like it came out of nowhere real fast in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I agree. It's sort of just all of a sudden it's like huge, and all of a sudden Lightroom was like, oh right, we've got AI removal now. And it's phenomenal. I mean, it's phenomenal.
It is. I tested it on a couple things and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's
that
incredible.
did better than I could.
Did I tell you about the shot I took? I've got friends who own a Airbnb up in the Lake District, about 40 minutes drive. And she wanted some stuff for our website. And one of the lakes is called Ullswater. And there's a little launch that goes up and down the lake. Tourists get on it, and it's beautiful. And the fells are on either side. And she wanted a photograph of the launch coming into the jetty with the fells in the background, the mountains in the background. And it was a really windy Sunday, and the boat was rocking, and it came in, and the waves were lapping, and it was beautiful. The light was perfect, and on the boat was about 10 lads taking selfies. Like it's so the shot was like, oh nah, that's just looks shit. It looks shit. So I ran up down the jetty when she moved it up, and I said, "Are you coming back?" She went, "No, that's the last one today. It's too windy, so this is the last one." So I went, right, okay. I'll have to come back another day. So I went home and I got the shot and I went, oh, the shot's beautiful. It's really gorgeous. The light's perfect. I wonder.
Lasso.
5 minutes later, wasn't a soul on the boat. So, and it's just remarkable how because this was a big lump of humanity on the top of the boat, I went, well, how's it working out what's behind it? And it didn't just sort of cut and paste a bit from there to there. It generated what it thought. The it was just like, it's phenomenal. It really, I mean, so I'm not denying that, but you can do that with a politician's face as well, can't you?
You can. You really
and
can.
people are.
It does it very well. But on the downside of that, it can be used as an excuse of, oh, that's AI.
Yeah.
I'm at a weird crossroads with AI. I saw a fucking ChatGPT commercial on HBO Max the other night. They have commercials now.
No way.
Where they come up with a exercise plan. That's this kid that's like doing pull-ups. And it was like, it was very 80s inspired, 80s soundtrack. And I was like, this is kind of a cool commercial. And then it's like, show me how to increase my number of pull-ups. And then it generated a whole plan. And I was like, shit, this is ChatGPT.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's here.
It's here. Skynet is live, man. This is just like Terminator T2. It's Judgment Day.
Is it?
And we're just
let's talk about film, Justin. Let's talk about film.
Do you think your return to film is going to stick? Are you getting more and more curious about, well, maybe a couple roles?
Well, one of the things I read on a comment was, it's all right to like both. You do know that, don't you? And I've never really thought along those. I mean, I'm not pathetic, really, to think along those lines. But when I wrote that post, I was like, right, I've got digital kit. I've got really fantastic digital kit that I'm loving, and I love using that camera. Then I thought, yeah, well, it is all right. Why not? And what I have got my head round is the fact especially when I saw the results from this little thing. I mean, what a cracking little camera! You know, it's a box with a hole in it. It's totally manual. The light meter doesn't work, but the legs, when I held the legs up, and I went, shit, man,
Those were some good looking photos, man.
the bang on the legs. And so I've got a film camera. Why would I not? And what I've had to convince myself with my ADHD thought process, going, well, you need a medium format camera, and actually large format's not that expensive. So I had to stop myself from looking at. I literally had a bid ready. A Bronica, because I used to shoot weddings on Bronicas, Mamias and Bronicas. And there was this kit on. I went, I can't believe it. So it was an ATRSI, the 645 one. And it had 2 lenses and 2 backs and a prism finder. And it was like less than 400 quid. And I was like,
that's not bad.
It's gone now. I mean, it was good.
Oh, of course.
But
yeah.
I was like, well, really, I should. And eBay, being eBay, it was like, oh, here in 5 monthly installments. So I was like, God, I could really get that. And then I went, like, yeah, but where are you going to get the films developed? And how much is it going to cost you for the film? And where are you going to get it printed? And so I had to rein myself in. I really had to rein myself in. So part of the post was absolutely bang on that I'm learning now, and this is digital as well, that it's all right just to have a camera with a couple of lenses, and I don't need a flash, and I don't need this, and I don't need that, because all I love doing is going out onto the fells and wherever, or into Kendall and taking photographs. That's what I love doing, and it was exactly the same when I went out with that. I thoroughly enjoyed myself for a couple of hours.
What lens is on that?
It's a 50. It's just a little 50 mil.
Is that Vivitar a screw mount lens?
It's basically a rip off of a Pentax. So that you could put a Pentax camera lens on that. So it's a Pentax mount.
I actually have a Vivitar lens that I shot those gas station shots on, and everybody talks shit about Vivitar now because. Like, in the 90s, Vivitar was like, you get cheap microscopes, you get cheap telescopes, cheap cameras and stuff. But back in the day, man, Vivitar used to make great stuff.
Oh,
every now and then,
lenses.
they'd stumble across something on accident sometimes, and it's like, oh, damn.
When he said, I've got a camera, and I went, where is it? And he went, it's a Vivitar. And I went, is that the lens? And he went, no, that's the camera. And I genuinely didn't know that they made cameras as well, because there were always just lenses, weren't there? But I'm really impressed with it. It's not pin sharp, but that's the lens, isn't it? But as a little thing, it's basically a rip off of a K1000, which was my first ever camera. And I've lost count of the amount of K1000s I've looked at on eBay the last month, mind. Just like, there's one for 200, there's one for 150. But I think the very long answer to your very short question is that I think I am going to stick with it. But I'm really going to try and not go any further than maybe buying what I thought I might do, a film a month, and write that up. No, listen. Don't look at me like that, because I'm trying my best here. I've got an addictive personality, and and what I need to do is, what I was thinking is maybe choose a film. Or get people to say on Substack, right, have a vote, here's 4 films, I'll shoot the one that you choose, and I'll go out and shoot the film and see what's that. And I know it'll be a lot of really, really hard film to use. It'll be chosen for me, like the legendary Phoenix, I suppose.
Good luck, it's discontinued.
Yeah. Oh, it's gone, isn't it? Yeah.
You should see how much Jess has bought.
Jesus. She's like, what's that? That film I used when Kodak were going to get rid of T-Max. Was it Don McCullen? You know, Don McCullen, the war photographer, British war photographer. He panic bought literally hundreds and hundreds. He was going around London buying every single roll of this, and they didn't. You can still get it, but I understand, because he used he nearly got his legs blown off in Vietnam shooting on that film. So he, uh, he's keen. He was keen to, and that's exactly the same, isn't it? That's a proper panic. So I suppose that it's a finite supply now. Then it's just going to be expired stuff for people who are holding on to it.
I told her she's eventually going to get bored of shooting it now that she's bought 7 bricks, and then she just needs to hang on to it for 10 years and then sell it.
Yeah.
Because the markup price on film right now is it's going to be the next Aerochrome. I bet you. I have a feeling that Phoenix 1 is going to be the next Aerochrome film where everybody wants to shoot it, but nobody can afford it.
Why did they stop? Why did they stop producing it then? Because there's Phoenix 2, isn't it? I'd say I'm a novice now. It's really weird, that, isn't it? I'm an absolute novice. I'm not nothing about it anymore.
Phoenix 1 was always an experimental film that they sold to fund further research for more color films.
Right.
And now that they have another color film, the production, the first one's going to stop, and this one is still they're still calling it an experimental film, but it's closer to what they want it to be. Phoenix 1 was the very rough start that some people have absolutely perfected better than I can shoot vision film. I think there's going to be a lot more situations like that where there's these new boutique films coming out.
Yeah.
Is the basic explanation for that. As simple as I can say it was the means to the end.
Yeah.
They used it to fund further research. I don't know, man. She's bought so much, they might be like, well, maybe we'll just keep making it.
That's crazy, isn't it? But I was the same I had 2 or 3 films that I used religiously, and nothing else would come anywhere near it. I had my preferred black and white films, TX400 or FP4. Didn't touch anything else. I still love FP4. And if
you love FP4?
Yeah, I wish I had a crisp £20 note for every roll of FP4 I'd shot. Because
I just got 75 feet of it.
Really, really lots of FP4. I learned on FP4. That was my first ever.
Huh. Because I've never shot it, so I'll have more questions about that.
I'd have to troll my memory, but HP5 had a push, but there was something. Something about the fine grain of it. The grain was there, but it was really, and the way I never box speed it. I always used to downrate it, at least to stop, and then alter the process, and I always just seemed to get sort of quite punchy negs, and I used to print on a 4 or 5 filter to get a really punchy, contrasty print. I loved it. And when you look at my digital stuff, it's so I've tried to emulate what I used to do with FP4, and I've even got a Fuji recipe for FP4, but
it's not the same.
It's not like it. It's not like it, so I've done my own profile in Lightroom, that when the files come in, I click it, and so I've spent quite a lot of time trying to get a look of a punchy neg, I suppose.
They look good, man. I know a lot of people would think a lot of your stuff is film, especially. There's something about yours that looks more like film than some other people's.
Yeah,
I can see the FP4 comparisons.
Yeah, I don't know, because I think I shot that much of it, and I think my eye was quite attuned to it. Then once I got my head round, once I've got rid of Photoshop, I don't touch I hate Photoshop, so I've exclusively used Lightroom and have done for years. Once I got my head around Lightroom and how to edit properly, because for a good few years I didn't know, I couldn't get my head around it. But once I sort of learned how to edit properly in my own way, through trial and error, no YouTube. So just a bit pig-headed like that. I'm going to do it. I'll learn.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I think maybe because I learned on film and knew what I wanted from film, then maybe once I knew Lightroom, it was quite easy to replicate what I used to do in the darkroom, really. I remember buying Lightroom years ago on a disc. I went, oh, it's mine forever. Nope.
Nope. I don't even have Lightroom on my computer.
Do you not?
No, I use Photoshop to edit everything. If I shoot a wedding, I'm editing every photo individually.
Whoa. See,
and then I match them.
I stopped. It was taking me weeks and weeks. I just couldn't do it. And when you shoot, shooting maybe sometimes 2 weddings a week, and the backlog was just, I was up all night editing, just like, and it was a contemporary of mine in Sunderland went, "What the hell are you using that for?" Use Lightroom. I hadn't even heard of it. And he went, I put the card into a reader and go and make a cup of tea. And I come back and they're all there and they've been renamed and they've had a curve, a curve and a bit this done and a bit sharpening, and I'm aware. And it's a bit like, because I used to use Photoshop Actions to do that. But you've got to build all that, haven't you? And I download. I think he gave me a pirate copy of it on CD. Or
My first copy of Photoshop was pirated, for sure.
Yeah. And I went, all right, okay, this could speed things up a bit. And I never looked back. I've still got Photoshop, but it's never opened it.
I really like Camera Raw, their version. I think it's basically a Lightroom plugin for Photoshop, but I came from design and stuff before I was a photographer, like design screen printing. So I have been doing Photoshop since I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've been using Photoshop for more than half my life. Hang on, I need to come to terms with that shit.
Yeah,
that's rough.
You need to have a lie down when you think about it.
Yeah, I need to lay down, take a Geritol, and take a fucking nap.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
How do you think I felt when I wrote that post about being in a dark room in 1983? You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't even born yet, Paul.
90% of the people possibly 99% of the people who are going to watch this weren't born in 1983, But Well, it's a lovely thing, isn't it? It's
my age demographics.
That level of passion about something.
It is, and it's like, I'm going off on a tangent. Recently, I got accused of being a bigot and an ageist because of the way I talk about digital photography versus film photography. And I'm like, I don't think I've said anything negative about digital photography. I'm a digital photographer that happens to shoot film for a hobby.
A bigot?
A bigot and ageist, because I was like, I told a guy that he was a 50-year-old guy he was just commenting very condescending, passive-aggressive shit on a bunch of people's posts. He did it on mine. He did it on Dan's. I saw him do it to at least 3 other people.
Was he
and then he did it and then he did it to me again, and I fucking lit that dude up. I was pissed. And I was like, you're a 50-year-old man who doesn't have anything better to do than be a condescending piece of shit on the internet. And he's like, you're an ageist, you're a bigot against digital photographers, and this and that, and this and that. I'm like, I've never said anything negative about digital photographers. I'm a digital photographer, dude. I make most of my income through digital photography. The problem is, it's a 50-year-old guy who thought he held the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah.
And everybody should kiss ass for him because he's lauded himself as the lord of all film. And in reality, he's an insecure man that takes nude photos of himself in the forest like a fucking psychopath. I'm not kidding.
I need to frantically search for his post now.
Dude.
I mean, maybe he needs to use ChatGPT to work out the true meaning of the word bigot. I don't know.
Dude, I was heated. And before I went off on him, so you know Dan from OK Photo?
Yeah.
Okay, so the dude commented on one of Dan's posts, just being condescending, and Dan called him out about it. The nicest guy on earth, other than maybe Moonbeam Ben, like, the nicest guy on earth lost his shit on him. And then he comments on my shit.
I don't get why. I don't know. I just don't get it, Justin. Do you know what I mean?
I don't either. It's just, I don't remember my point, but the point is there's no point. That guy needs to not be an asshole.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how that started, but my blood pressure went up.
You just said, you just like me. You just said, I'm going off on a tangent, and then off you went.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a bit more of that on Substack, actually. People, I'm having to either unfollow or unsubscribe, or there was a guy a couple of weeks ago who just was downright rude, and I posted a photograph about standing on a lochside in Scotland and being, even though it's quite a touristy place in the height of the summer, that you can find yourself totally alone, like literally physically alone, no one around you. And my point was like, how can somewhere so beautiful and so popular in the summer still be able to offer you a degree of solitude? That was the sort of, it was only a note, it wasn't a post.
Yeah.
And he came back and he went, yeah, but there's a boat. And I was like, right. He went, there's a boat in the photograph. I went, yeah. Thanks for ruining the moment. But
Dude, I have this running joke with Hans and Dan that I'm going to keep a picture of my own asshole saved in my phone. So that way when somebody comments, I can just post a photo comment to them and it's my asshole. Like,
fantastic. I asked him if he didn't want to consider a career as a professional private detective with such levels of, you know.
I would have gaslit him. I would have been like, what boat?
That's what he said. And then he came out and he said, well, there's actually 3 boats. And I went, yeah, they were unoccupied at anchor at the time, you know, but thanks for spoiling the moment. I'll give you an hour before I block you so you can have your little troll moment and off you go.
Do you remember the guy's name? Was it that piece of shit?
I've blocked him.
I blocked him too.
I've blocked him. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what a fucking knob.
Just always negative to everybody except himself.
And a couple of occasions in the past, he'd said something. I went, I'm going to let that slip.
I'm
going to let that go and just ignore it. But then this, I went, fuck you.
Yeah, I had to block him from the YouTube channel for the show.
Really?
Because, yeah, he was going off about, like, saying horrible shit about Jason. Like, wildly horrible shit. And I was like, what the fuck?
Well,
like,
even he's this is turning into a proper cat session and
that's fine. That's fine. Fuck that guy, dude. I've been waiting for somebody to say something about that dude.
No. I mean, even his profile picture.
He looked like an alcoholic werewolf, is what he looked like.
Yeah, just somebody. If you walked into a bar, you'd go, fuck that. I'll go next door. I'm not one is sitting in there.
He looks like a big fan of Peter Sutcliffe. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, fucking dodgeball.
Substack has been monumentally important in my mental health since February. The minute I was on Substack and I started interacting and seeing the way people interacted, I was like, this is different.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, as word spreads and new people come on, it's gonna be inevitable that there's trolls. But I think there's a lot of stuff on Substack that just doesn't benefit trolls. I don't think the comment sections are going to be beneficial. There's no angry reacts. It's heart react.
There's not enough dung for them to fly around.
Yeah, and the comments are kind of hidden. Like, you have to seek out the comments. You can't just click comments and see them. It's harder to get to that comment section.
Yeah.
So I think
I've still got high hopes for it.
I do too.
Yeah.
I have high hopes for it. I think Substack is going to continue to grow for at least the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the biggest sources of independent journalism. And we have to be taking advantage of that microcosm of the world.
Absolutely.
Where it's not big enough for photography yet, where it's not like Instagram, it's not like that new photo app, which I've never even tried. Threads, the fucking cesspool of all places that's ever existed.
Yeah. I use the photo app, but I've sort of I downloaded the photo app before I downloaded Substack. No, that's not true. Actually, I downloaded photo as a result of Substack, but it was about the same week I started. Somebody had said, "Photo, this is great. It's the new way to show it." So I downloaded it, and I've sort of gone off the ball with it a little bit. I used to post a couple a day, but I maybe do 2 or 3 a week now. I'm not. It's boring. There's some fantastic photography on there, but
I've talked so much shit about Instagram, right? But I've also been way more active on Instagram lately since the podcast, because I've started using Instagram for networking.
Yeah.
And kind of the same way I'm using Substack, but like if somebody watches the show, they'll hit me up on Instagram. I have gotten so many fucking messages in the last 3 months about people who like the show, and and everything, and it's just a great networking tool for me.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have this show, I don't see any benefit of having Instagram. It's just, I don't know. I
think you've got to have both, haven't you? Because I'm over the moon that it's doing so well. It just seems to have it's really on a trajectory up, isn't it? It's fantastic. But I think
it's crazy.
If that's what's happening to it, then really you sort of have to have things like Instagram, haven't you? There's no real option nowadays.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, you've got. It was like I hinted that on the post about film. It was like, why have you not got a website? When websites were like, well, you haven't got a website. How do you get bookings? It's just like.
So I thought about building a website for Negative Influence, but I've just pushed everything to I'm telling them if they want to be on the show, hit me up on Instagram. If they want to go to the homepage of the show, go to Substack. That's I don't want to pay to have a website for the show. I already pay to have my personal website for photography. I'm not paying for another one because I don't see websites for something like Negative Influence. I don't see a website being highly beneficial when I can just host it other places for way less money.
Yeah, and I think that's true of websites. I've still got 2 websites. I've got one for my landscape work, and I've got one for my essays, as I call them, which are just like chunks of photographs around a theme, and nothing to do with landscape whatsoever. I've heard people say it's proper old school now to have websites and stuff. I don't care. I like the fact that it's there if somebody wants to look. It's like a lively
portfolio.
Oh, look, yeah, that's all right, and put it back. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at my website. I don't put any effort. The hours I used to sit in front of a computer just and doing site search engine optimization, the dreaded search engine optimization. And I used to spend hours and hours and hours keywording, and oh God, it drove me mad. But I don't put any effort into it.
You're retired.
yeah, I don't need to. And this is the thing. This is why I'm enjoying. Why I enjoyed the film experience and why I enjoy going out and taking photographs just for me now, because I'm in a lucky position now where there's no real pressure on what I do. And for 20, 30 years, there was just so much fucking pressure.
Maybe that's why shooting film was such a different experience for you this time. That's why you were so excited about it.
Yeah. And if it didn't come out. I wasn't going to get sued.
Yeah.
Which is what would have happened years ago, and your reputation goes up in flames at that point, doesn't it? If you do 3 jobs and 2 of them don't come out because you haven't exposed the negatives properly, then you're in deep shit, aren't you?
But,
So and it was the same with digital. You muck up and your reputation's gone. So there's no more pressure. There's no more pressure. So when I go out, I was out at the weekend with my camera with my wife, and the weather was awful. So my camera was in my bag, and it didn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. So I'm in a really privileged position to have, a nice camera and no pressure. It's nice. I don't need to sell anything. I don't need to make sure my website's on page 1 of Google, because it doesn't matter anymore.
So I'm going to touch back on AI for a second. AI is really good at giving you SEO for your personal website.
If only I'd had a time machine to launch forward.
You could open up shop again, Paul. You're back in the industry, Paul.
I tell you, it was, and I'd get sometimes 2 or 3 phone calls a day. I'd be sitting
still.
No, when I went back then, when I was still had my business, and I'd be sitting editing a wedding, and the phone would go, "Hello, Paul Maven Photography," and it would be somebody saying, "Oh, hi, I'm just wanting to talk to you about Google." I don't want to get rude with you, mate, but you're the 3rd person today who's going to get me at page 1 of Google. I said, "Have you done your research?" And they'd go, "What do you mean?" I went, "Are you at a computer? Type Harrogate wedding photographers into Google now." All right, I see what you mean. Because I'd be on page 1, but I'd get 3 calls a day, minimum. People trying to push Google. I could rank you high So if only I had AI to go.
It would have saved you so much time and sanity.
So honestly,
You wouldn't even know anything about SEOs. It would have just popped up and generated for you.
Yeah. But yeah. With the benefit of hindsight and the benefit of not knowing what to do, then that was the right way to go at the time. But do you know anybody? There's other people have websites, or is it just well, I did read somewhere where it was described as quaint.
Yes, I know the production company I work for does have a website.
Yeah.
I have my website. So I think websites are more for the older generations.
I wouldn't disagree.
Like Generation X, like my parents' generation and above are like all about the website. If there's not a website, that's not legit.
Yeah.
But the generations below me is like, they got a Snapchat, we're heading there now. It's wild.
Yeah,
It's like Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, whatever the hell people are using now.
Yeah.
That's where they find most of their information about businesses.
Yeah.
That's how most of the people that are younger than me get information about the government, is from their social media pages.
That's terrifying. That really...
It's fucking horrifying, dude. It's not good.
Yeah.
My government social media right now is not great.
Nah,
There's some bad optics.
I am old school, Justin. I'm 62 this year, man. So,
You don't look a day over 35, Paul.
You're too kind, Justin. You're too kind. But I do cling on to little bits of that, I think. But that's all right, because there's no pressure on. As I say, there's no pressure on.
So you experienced photography like professionally before social media existed.
Yeah.
And as a whole, do you think it has become more gimmicky and trendy since social media started, or do you think it's benefited it overall because people can get more of their voices out there?
I think the digital revolution on photography was a massively powerful thing, and I'm all for it. It democratized it. It democratized photography. Photography was an elitist fucking gang. When I got into photography, it was all just middle-aged white men slapping each other on the back, telling everybody how brilliant they all were. It was horrible. There's something called the Master Photographers Association in England. And you had to be in that. If you weren't in that, you weren't a real photographer. Do you know what I mean? And I remember going along to a meeting a few years after I started, and I stood in the corner on my own. There just no one talked to me because I wasn't in the gang. And I think when digital came in, when digital photography came in, and people could sort of take photographs on the phones and stuff. Yeah, there is a garbage element to it. Who gives a fuck? But, it democratized photography. It made it more accessible to sort of so many more people. How could you not before that?
It leveled the playing
photography,
field.
what you want to experience is a world where everybody's taking photographs. Surely, and the downside of that, obviously, is if you're in business.
Yeah, that's a hard obstacle to overcome.
So there's a contradiction there. There's a sort of it clashes a little bit, but generally, I do think it became really sort of trendy, and and everybody became a photographer. And when I noticed that, particularly shooting weddings, suddenly you'd have lots of people standing behind you, genuinely interested in what you were doing and what you were shooting on and how you did it. And I've got a camera, and I'll talk to you in a minute, mate. I'm
fucking busy.
Give us half an hour, I'll come and have a chat with you. And so I did think it sort of, there was an explosion of it, wasn't there? There was an explosion of photography. I'm all for that. I'm absolutely all for that.
There's some people, and I've noticed it lately, it's not older people like you would think. It's people who are obsessed with older generations' photographic work. And they feel like social media has cheapened the art form of photography. And I'm like, I don't think it I understand why you would think that, but at the same time, your photography is more available to any audience than it has ever been before.
Yeah.
There's never been a bigger audience for photography than right now.
Yeah.
And I think those people who lean towards the social media has cheapened things are people who want it to be more of an exclusive club, so that way they can benefit financially from what they're doing, even if their work is really shitty a lot of the times. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be an elitist at all, because I believe everybody can get better, everybody can grow. But I definitely think there should be some kind of like permit you have to get before you can fuck up somebody's wedding memories.
Absolutely. No, I'm listen, don't get me wrong. My wife's a nurse, and she worked with another nurse. This was before I closed my business, so pre-COVID. And she brought these negatives home and said, "Can you do anything with these?" And literally, I'm not ashamed to admit it, that reduced me to tears. What this fucking arsehole had done to this couple's wedding day by pretending he ended up being on the national news, this guy. He made the national press. He was a fraudster, but he'd bought a cheap digital camera, and he was selling he had a website, and he was selling himself as a professional. And they were a disgrace. You know, no offense to chimps, but if you'd have given a chimpanzee a camera and went, "Go and shoot that wedding," it would have done no less or no better than what this moron had done. They were an absolute disgrace. So, but that's the problem that photography's always had, isn't it? This guy had this guy had letters after his name because he bought a certificate. It's some of the professional bodies out there, you know, a licentiate certificate. All you did was pay them a fee, send a couple of photographs in. Yeah, you're in, mate. Yeah. And you'd have letters.
Perfect. I got your money. That's all I wanted.
Yeah. So and how do you police that? I don't know. How do you? There should be, but how do you do that? It's not like a gas engineer, isn't it? If you're a gas engineer and you haven't got a certificate, you could potentially kill somebody. But if you fuck somebody's wedding up, you fuck somebody's wedding up. So I don't know how you would police that. But I've seen the results of these idiots,
and not just weddings. Like, I'm gonna say it. There's this photographer locally. They saw that there was a trend with the end of life photos for pets. Where, every single fucking photo is out of focus. And the photographer's like, "Well, I'll give you a discount on the next shoot." And I was like, "The next shoot? The dog can't die twice, man. What the hell do you mean?"
Clear! Quick, get in with the camera!
And oh man, like the balls on somebody to go out there with a camera, not knowing how to use it, and thinking they can pull off an end of life shoot for a family pet and not fuck up and get caught.
It's unbelievable. The balls,
desperation.
There was a guy in Sunderland, and he got called out because he was lifting, not copying. He was using images of a famous, I can't remember what she was called. She was a really trendy at that time American wedding photographer, and her work was phenomenal. You know, it was like she was a sort of groundbreaker. You'd see a shot, and then that next season everybody was doing that shot. You know, she was like a real sort of influence. Oh God, I can't remember her name. That's terrible. But she was fucking great. And he was literally just cutting and pasting the photographs off our website, sticking them on his, and saying that they were his. And somebody saw them and went, "Nah, man, that's not yours." And he was in the local paper. The local paper went after him and sort of said, "What's going on?" And he went, "Oh, I've got terminal cancer."
What the fuck? It's like that makes me a piece of shit.
Cancers. I've had cancer. It's no laughing matter. He said, "I've got terminal cancer, so you can't see anything." And they went, "Well, we can actually. You know, I'm really sorry you've got terminal cancer." And then about 8 months later, he was back on the market doing again, and they went, "Well, I thought you were And he went, "Oh no, and on his website, he put a post on, since recovering from terminal cancer."
Since recovering from terminal cancer.
So he was
Oh my
that
God.
sick. He was that stupid. He didn't even know what terminal cancer was. So maybe some sort of certificate would be a good idea, but I don't know how you would place it.
I think one of the biggest problems is that there's a lot of influencers and YouTubers out there who will tell you how easy it is to make $100,000 a year as a photographer. What they don't tell you, usually, some of them will, is that you have to have the fucking skills in the first place to make that kind of money. And they just gloss over that shit.
Yeah.
They just, because those influencers are typically counting on newbies to be the ones clicking on their content to watch it.
Back to your original question about it, is it trendy and what happened? And they did democratize it, but it's sort of, I'm glad it did, but there's all that connected to it, isn't there? So like everything, it's a bit like, it's sort of, I was just about to liken it to punk rock.
Yeah.
In that it was like anybody can do it. I can do that. I can be a musician now. And
it's a commodity.
But then the downside of that, there's some truly awful punk bands emerged that are just unlistenable now. You're just like, oh God, that was awful. What did I like about that? That's terrible. But that's something I wanted to talk to you about music, but maybe for another time, really, because we've already got a few minutes left. But I'm doing more and more of that, putting music to images, and just the magic that happens when you put music to images. It's just something happens to it, doesn't it?
It does, and I've been doing it lately with Instagram. Where if I share a photo, I try to pick a song that has something to do with the photo.
Yeah.
And I've seen more interaction. So I think there is something to connecting music with the image.
Absolutely. I mean, I started doing those Sunday galleries. I've only done 3, and I'll stick a song on it. And they're not even my song choices sometimes. I mean, my wife chose the last one. And but there seems to be quite a lot of people going, oh, this is like one guy said, it's like meditation. So I put one out. They were all like water and seascapes and stuff, and I put this really sort of ethereal piece of music on from the early '80s. But she's got a beautiful voice, and he was like, "It's like meditating." I'm scrolling through the images and listening to the song at the same time, and there's something magical about it. I don't know, and maybe it's because we're both played in bands and been around music for so long and stuff like that. I don't know.
It might be, but I think it's something more like... I feel like both music and photography can stir something deeply emotional in some people.
Yeah.
And if you can combine those two in the right way,
yeah,
or make them feel something, whether it be the music or the photo, they're more likely to interact and have something to say about that piece of artwork, as opposed to sharing one or the other independently.
Yeah.
It might be what people who first saw the first motion picture felt like. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. Maybe they're gonna run and scream from the theater like the first people that saw the first motion picture did. They thought it was like a train, and the people ran out of the theater.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you're right. I think they're both massively powerful things on the music and photography, and so I'm right into that. I've been shooting video on my XT5 as well. And it's
have you?
Yeah. Been going out and shooting and time lapse of it. And this is all thanks to Substack. Seriously, what I was saying earlier on. If you'd had said to me last year, "Oh, you're going to be going out and shooting video and making time lapse and going out on a regular basis, photographing all kinds of stuff and putting a film through that," I would have thought, no way. Absolutely, it's absolutely. I sound like a salesman for Substack. I'm not.
So do I, dude. I've been accused of it.
But just being. I know I'm not physically around people, but being around and communicating and looking at the work of other photographers and other creative people. And I'm writing. I haven't wrote anything since I was doing my MA at university in 2005 or whatever it was. But after I finished my dissertation, I didn't want to write another word for as long as I lived.
Yeah, now you're wading back in.
I'm actually looking forward to sitting down and writing. It's really sparked my my brain really in quite a compulsive way.
It has, and I think it's like, I don't want to say it's a friendly competition because it's not. It's like show and tell, is what it is.
Yeah.
We get to do something, then go show all of our friends online, and then high five each other about the cool things we're doing.
Yeah, and what could be better than that?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, well, have you tried doing this? And it's like, well, fuck, no, but now I gotta.
Yeah. It is like that, and it's quite a bar the odds glitch. It's generally a really welcoming environment to do it in, I think. So I'm right into it. I hope it continues. Really.
You got winter coming over there, or is it already there?
Yeah, we're just on it. It's beautiful at the minute. The Lake District's gorgeous because the fells change colour. So if you get a sunny day, the hills are like golden red, and it's.
I think we have a pretty similar climate.
Yeah,
we have the deciduous trees and everything, and it's gorgeous up here right now, but winter is coming.
Yeah, and I've heard you talk about your winters. I've got. I'm wearing these now, Justin. I've got. Can you see my knobbly fingers? I've got
arthritis.
I've got osteoarthritis. So in the cold, I really suffer. I really feel it. So I hate it. I think the next evolutionary step is hibernation, mate. Once it gets dark, just put a blanket over your head, take some supplies, and wake up in spring. That's my philosophy. I really dislike the winter a lot.
I have arthritis in my back.
Really?
Yeah, because I screen printed for years, so I was constantly bending and standing.
Yeah.
And it hurt so bad. I've started medicating for it.
Yeah.
Through herbal remedies.
Yeah.
That burn. But it's helped a lot. It's been improving greatly especially since I quit screen printing. But winter sucks so much. It's just miserable. I want to move somewhere warm all year round. I don't care. Everybody's like, wouldn't you miss the seasons? I'm like, fuck them seasons. They don't matter to me.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think I was a lizard in a former life. Sit on a rock for 12 hours a day, just soaking the rays up will do me nicely.
Just waiting for a hawk to take you out.
Yeah.
Just staring up.
Yeah. No, I really don't like it. It's beautiful, and I did. I woke up on the fell tops in January when the snow was waist deep, and it was mind blown. It was absolutely mind blown. It's just the general, when you get up on a Monday morning and it's dark and it's wet and it's cold. I can't.
It's the sun's coming up at 8 a.m. here right now, and it's going down at 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, well, we're about the same. Yeah.
It's there's no sunlight.
Yeah.
Sunlight feels like it's 20 minutes long.
Yeah. Do you? This is really ignorant, but our clocks change next weekend. Do you?
Sunday, November 2nd, we do. We go.
You go back
an hour.
Yeah, you go back an hour.
Fuck.
I
wish they'd just leave it alone.
Yeah, no, it's
stop changing it. It don't fucking matter. Leave it alone.
Yeah, why
Who is this benefiting?
Didn't they change it to do with productivity during the First World War or something?
I thought it was for farmers, is what I've always been told.
Yeah. So I think for a similar, an economic reason.
We are in the age of artificial lighting.
Yeah.
I see those fucking farmers out there all the time at 10 o'clock at night still working in the damn soybean field over here.
Yeah.
Why do we... Who is this helping? This helps nobody. Just leave... I don't care which way they leave it. They just need to leave it alone.
Leave the fuck alone, yeah. God, we've covered some subjects today, mate.
We have. I have one more question for you, and it's my favorite one. How have you managed to not become a pretentious fucking prick? I wrote it out.
So
because you've been in it for so long, and you're still very lighthearted about photography and like enjoy talking about it, and you're not gatekeeping younger generations doing it.
Yeah.
So how have you not managed to become so jaded and pretentious about it? Like, you want everybody to have fun with photography, and you like that it's democratized through the digital revolution.
Yeah.
It's refreshing to see somebody from your stature and where you came from welcoming the younger generations into photography.
Oh God, that's a difficult question to answer. Really, I'm just myself. Just I've always, what you see is what you get with me, you know. And when I first got into photography, what you've got to remember is I was a part of this collective, this group of people in Sunderland. We were all in our late teens. We were all unemployed. We had nothing. And we took over, and we were all musicians or creative people, and we took over this old school in Sunderland. We went to the council and said, "Can we run that?" And they gave us the keys. There's a post on Substack about it. So I had the keys to this school when I was 18, this spotty, spitey head. And I've never forgot the power of collective power. You know, people doing stuff together. And it's the same the way I've money has never been my primary concern, Justin. It's never, ever. So when I was in a business, I ran a business because really that's all I could do. I was no longer in a band, and I wanted to be a photographer, and that's all I had. I didn't have any qualifications when I left school. So photography was what I had, and the notion of making money didn't really come into it. I did make money eventually, but it wasn't the motivator. And I think having that mental attitude has kept me in the same mindset as I was when I was playing in a dodgy punk band in Sunderland in 1983 with all my mates, and helping everybody along and welcoming people in. And you know, so people used to come to the bunker in Sunderland and go, "Oh God, this is really quite not what I was expecting. There's graffiti on the walls and the toilets are smashed." But I love it because everybody's like welcoming, like a welcoming environment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I love Substack so much, and it's just been my philosophy and throughout my life really is to have that mental mindset where, you know, just be yourself and just be. I still love being creative. I'm still passionate about photography, and that's all I need really, you know. And not.
You're a community builder, Paul. That's what you are. You thrive on community.
Yeah, I do, and which is sort of ironic now because I live somewhere where I don't really know anybody. But
Same.
You know, I've lived here 2 years now. Next month we've lived here 2 years, and I know a few people, but not many. And I'm not really bothered about that. But one of the traits of ADHD is sort of being perfectly all right with your own company. So yeah. I'm a bit like that. But you know, I've got other communities and other ways of communicating. This is one of them. You know, so. What a lovely thing to say that about not being pretentious. I try not to be.
Yeah, I don't think you're pretentious at all. There's so many like photographers that haven't been doing it even as long as me that are very pretentious and they look down on people, and it's just like, I think it's because they're afraid somebody's gonna like try to get some of their profit somehow. And I'm like, that guy lives in like Southern California. We're in Michigan. Why are you worried about that person?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess everybody kind of gatekeeps their profession to a degree, where it's like, oh God, another photographer's here, great.
Yeah.
But
well,
I think there's enough work for all of us.
Yeah, I think it's a bit. I think it is harder to make a living as a photographer or any creative, and it's definitely harder now. I think you've just got to be confident in what you're doing and continue to improve. I'm still improving. I'm still pushing. You're only as good as your last photograph, aren't you? Really, you know. And I think if you keep pushing yourself and improving your craft and listening to what other people have got to say, and through YouTube or Substack or podcasts like this, just being open-minded about it and accepting of what people are, then you kind of feel. And I used to, when I've worked in colleges and schools, and I've always said to students, photography students in particular, if you want to be a photographer bad enough, if you want it that much, you will be a photographer. You've got to put the work in. You've got to continue to practice. What did Cartier-Bresson said? Your first 10,000 photographs are your worst. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to just keep shooting, keep going. And eventually you'll be a photographer and seek out the support of like-minded people. You kind of feel, and any profession's going to be hard to progress in, isn't it? It's not just photography.
It is. Especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be hard. It just depends on how much you want what you're going after.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I first went to college, I was in my mid-20s. So we're talking early 90s. I went to college and I left. I was unemployed. I went to college. I was accepted as a mature student because I was in my mid-20s, and the rest of them were all 18, 19. And without fail, without exception, everybody who put the work in on that course, so it was 40 people on that course, without exception, every single person on that course who put the work in because they wanted to be a photographer ended up being a photographer. And I'm not talking just on holiday. I'm talking about some seriously shit hot professional photographers who are still doing it longer than I have. Kev, my mate who lives in the Northeast, he's got his own studio. His wife was on the course. She's a photographer. So that's all it is. It's just about being having conviction in what you do, really, and doing it in a way that doesn't shit on people from a great height.
I think that's a great way to go through life, Paul.
Isn't it?
It is. Don't be a piece of shit that shits on other people from a great height.
It's punk rock, mate.
We should make fucking jackets that say that.
We should have jackets with that on, and we should have hats with ambidextrous on. Your stuff's really improving, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You can absolutely see your work blossoming. You can see it sort of. There's a confidence that wasn't there even 8 months ago with the way you're shooting. I love the chestnut form thing.
Thank you.
It looked like don't take this the wrong way, but it looked like a mature photographer. It looked like a piece of work by a mature photographer. I'm not talking about age. I'm talking about maturity in the way you shoot and what you're looking for. And so you can definitely see.
There's a line growth.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you out there all the time shooting? Then are you doing loads?
So the chestnut farm season's done. So I need to find a new project because they were only open those 2 weekends.
Yeah.
And I need to find a new project now. But I appreciate the very kind words because I've been working very hard on intentionality in photography. And I know every fucking YouTuber's talking about being intentional with your work, but it's working. Like being conscious of what you're shooting and putting in the work beforehand to make sure that the results come out the way you want. I'm investing more time in my work instead of just showing up with a camera.
Yeah, and I think as well when you're doing long-term pieces of work, that's really important, especially when there's a human element to it. I think we had this discussion last time, didn't we, about street photography. I've got an ethical question about street photography. I always have done. It's nothing new. I've got a bit of a problem with just sticking the camera in somebody's face and then legging it. I'm a bit I can see why people do it, and there's some cracking stuff out there. But I think it's not talked about enough on Substack. That ethical question as what level of import have they got in it? And usually it's a big fat zero, isn't it? So I think there's a big question over it. I'm not denouncing it. I'm not saying people shouldn't. I'm just saying there's a discussion there to be had, really, about street photography.
So I'm working on a TikTok, like comedy sketch, and it's going to be being portrayed as it being real because everybody believes everything on the internet. But you know those videos where some people will be like, today we're out on the streets and we're going to try to see if we can take some portraits. And then they'll be like, hey man, I really like your outfit. Can I take your portraits? And the guy's like, oh yeah, whatever. I want to be like, hey man, is it okay if I take your portrait? And he's going to be like, go fuck yourself. I'm like, and that's how we take portraits on the street.
Yeah, because they're obviously set up, and they're so obviously set up. It's just like, come on, man, come on.
And I'm gonna be like method 2, and it's just gonna be like flash, and just like gone. Yeah. I'm like, that's how we take. I can't run very far. I'll get winded.
Should be a bit more of a debate about it, really, about street photography.
Yeah, I think there's going to be an ethics change coming in that.
Yeah.
With the way consent is talked about everything now.
Yeah.
I do believe that street photography is going to be at the mercy of consent. Whether there's ever a law.
I'm not sure whether I agree with that. I'm just not sure whether it's not for me, I suppose, is what I'm saying. It's not my cup of tea, just at the end of the day. And I'm not, who am I to dictate how other people photograph and what they photograph? But for me, I'm much more likely to invest my time looking at a piece of work like the Chestnut Farm, where there's human interaction and you're telling a story visually and through words, and there's been a connection, a real connection between the photographer and the subject, rather than just bang,
strangers passing through the night.
I'm off. Thanks for that. I'm off with my photograph. Yeah, you've got out of it, but I'm off. So I've always had a bit of a problem with that because I'm from a world where documentary photography in the northeast of England was a huge thing. There was this collective called The Side, who made films, and there were filmmakers and photographers, and there's some phenomenal work and it was all along, people living within the communities for like 15, 20 years, and making photographs of these communities. And for me, that's just much more interesting.
It is
infinitely more
that long form commitment. The only thing that makes me think that there's going to be some kind of ethical discussion about this and possible laws about it is there's something fresh in my mind. There's a community group for the biggest town that's near me, and there was a themed event that happened out on the street, and there was an event photographer there, and the event photographer caught somebody's kids on camera just walking down the street. And I have never seen so much outcry about somebody being photographed. The parents were like, I didn't give consent for this. I need your legal information. And just, people don't understand that in the US, at least, they have no reasonable expectation of privacy in public. For one, that's one thing they don't understand. And two, they can't attack that guy just because he took pictures of their kids in public. He was the event photographer. He was hired for it.
Yeah, and I think it's a big myth. I used to speak to students about this. I'd say I would send them out into Leeds city centre with a Pentax K1000 or a roller film, and I used to talk to them a little bit about what they were allowed and what they weren't allowed to do. And one of the first questions would be, "Are you allowed to take photographs in the street?" And these were degree students. These weren't kids, and a lot of them would be under the impression that not without permission. And I'd say, well, you can take photographs of anything you bloody well want to. If you're in a public space, you can photograph whatever you want. You can take photographs of anything, and don't let anybody stop you. What you've got to ask yourself is, what am I photographing? How am I photographing? And what is it going to be used for? That's what I used to try and get them to think about. So yeah, it's the same in the UK, really.
If I were in your situation, the one question I would have them ask themselves is if they can fight or not. Because I feel like that style of photography is very, very prevalent in New York. Like the flashbanging people in public with flashes. It feels like a very New York thing.
There's a big tradition of it. There's a big tradition of it, isn't there? There was some really famous from the 70s. Can't remember the name off the top. Gary Vinegar.
Even now, there's like Trevor Wisecup. He's New York, isn't he?
Yeah. So there was a big tradition of it, of shooting from the hip and grabbing that stuff because of the way the city is and the way it looks. But I still don't. I don't really get. I'm working on two projects. One is the allotment, and the other one is photographing. I'm taking portraits on the fells. So
that's cool.
Yeah, but I don't hide behind a rock.
Yeah, it doesn't feel
with the long
sneaky.
lens on, I'll go up and talk to people. What I think people are missing out on is the stories I'm hearing and why you're on the fells, what draws you to the fells. The stories and the interaction is just gorgeous. It's lovely. I come away from those. So I'll go and climb a fell on my own. I'll go and do Helvellyn or something, and I'll take my camera and I'll take some business cards, which has got a little QR code on the back, which links to my email, and I'll send them the photograph. So there's an exchange. Yeah, I'll say I'm not selling anything. You email me on that address, and I will send you a high resolution image, totally free of charge, in exchange for the portrait. So and then I have a dialogue with them. Sometimes it lasts 30 seconds. Sometimes I'm there 45 minutes, hearing these incredible stories of from older people, younger people, people who have come over from Hong Kong because they've heard about the lake. Why would you not want that? And maybe it's because of the way I am, and because I love talking to people, but just running up to somebody and grabbing the photograph and then legging it. Where's the? I don't see.
I don't understand.
I don't get it.
One of these days, you're gonna be up there trying to talk to people to get portraits, and you're gonna walk up and tap on this man's shoulder, and he's gonna turn around, and it's gonna be me.
I would charge you for the photograph because by that time you're going to be making a fortune with your podcasts.
I don't know about that. Although I haven't bought film in a while. Film
really?
Are
people sending you film?
Well, Jess sent me all that shit out of her fridge. Somebody else sent me a bunch of Vision film. I still have a whole roll of 200T. I still have some of the 500T. I've got some medium format. It's just...
Wow.
Yeah, it's been crazy, man.
It's brilliant, though. It's brilliant. When I first... Because your first one was with Giles, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I'd really like to have a proper chat with him. He seems like a sound bloke, Giles.
He's nice, dude.
I've quite a lot of stuff I look on is not... It's not similar to what I do, but it's got that black and white, that really crunchy black and white stuff. I love it. His stuff's great, and he does a lot of stuff that I do but don't post. So the random shit photographs, I love it, but I tend not to post them. But so when I looked at that podcast and there was like 37 views, and I went, don't panic, it'll get there. And you look now at how many views are coming on per it's brilliant.
The Jason episode has like 15,000 views and like thousands of hours of watch time, and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That one episode, like I've said it before, this is the house that Cummerfeld built.
Yeah, and it's always I think the important thing, and I think you'll be true to this, is that it's not just the big names. I think you've always set out to people like me, no one's heard of. Do you know what I mean?
Nobody's heard of me either, man.
But that's changing though, isn't it? But you've got some big YouTube people coming on your podcast and stuff like that, and I think it can only go forwards. But I think keeping it keeping it real is important to you, isn't it?
It is, because I just want to bullshit with my friends and make new friends and maybe make some enemies. I'll make enemies. I don't give a fuck. Fuck them people. I'll be mean to people. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, we've cut a few things out just now on this one, so
I'm only cutting it out because I said his full name.
Yeah.
I might leave something in about. I might just I'll make a short where I tease that I'm going to be like, is his name start with an M?
Do it.
All right, Paul, I'm going to let you go.
Okay, man.
But it was a pleasure, man. I always love talking to you. We're going to do it again, I'm sure. Maybe we'll get you on a round table with Dan and Hans. That'd be fun.
Fantastic. I'd love to. Honestly, just give us a shout anytime. I love talking to you. Love your podcast. Thanks very much for having me on, Justin.
Anytime, man. I appreciate it. You have a good day.
You too, mate. See you later.
Later.